الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما واجعل التفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما اللهم آمين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to Him, and peace and blessings be upon His beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, tamam. Allah yajzika khair, akramakallah. We are still in the review of chapter albaqarah. After we spent, alhamdulillah, by the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 3 years, we are making a quick review by the most important things that we passed by the last 3 years. Today is the part 11 of the review. We will be dealing with verses 153, 154, 155, I think 156, which is يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. And then we will deal with وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٌ بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنْفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. The most important two messages from the first one was يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. All believers seek comfort in patience and prayer. Allah is truly with those who are patient. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, seek comfort in patience and prayer. So patience in itself is an entity. Lahad, Allah mentioned sabr before the prayer. So sabr in itself, it's an act of worship in itself. Prayer is a ritual act of worship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started with sabr before the salah. So what is the sabr? So what is patience? If you remember, we did this about 2 years ago in this one. But just to fix it, because I felt it's very important. One of the definitions قال الصبر هو حبس النفس وكفها عما تكره. Restraining yourself and holding back from what one dislikes. Restraining this قال حبس النفس لاحظ وكفها عما تكره. When you restrain yourself by pushing to do something or preventing from doing something, this is called sabr, which means this willpower where you take a decision to prevent yourself even though everything inside you wants to do it. Or the opposite, everything does not want and you push. This act of willpower which you push yourself with or against, it depends, because the self could be wishing doing the haram. In that case you are doing what? Holding back. Okay? Now, for example, male figures. By default, would we love to see a beautiful woman in the street or not? The nature, by nature. Do you feel happy to look at a beautiful woman or not? Don't feel shy. I'm asking about the nature. Yes or no? Yes. Yes. What stops you from this? The shara'. Because Allah commanded you بغض البصر. You've been commanded to control, to lower your gaze or to control your nazar. So the self would love. When you stop looking, you are using the pushing, you are preventing from. Or, for example, if it's up to us, which means we are not sinful, who will leave the bed at 5 a.m. in cold weather to pray if it's up to us? No. Frankly. No. You went to bed at 12, very tired, you need 7-8 hours. if it's up to you, who will wake up to pray? No one. No one. Why do we push ourselves? Because it is what's a commandment by Allah, out of respect. This is the submission. So he's explaining, I'm giving you examples about what's the meaning of حبس النفس وكفها عما تكره. What's the meaning of restraining oneself and holding back from what one dislikes. Okay? Then this is Tafsir al-Sa'di, Sheikh al-Sa'di, one of the Mufassirin, the last century. He says, and it is قال فهو ثلاثة أقسام. صبر, patience, are three types. قال صبر على الطاعة حتى تؤديها, patience on doing the act of worship or the commandment till you finish it. Like for example, if it's up to us, who will go to Hajj? Seriously, who will pay? Now in Canada, I think the cost of doing Hajj, I think between 15 to 20,000, صح? If I'm not mistaken. Which is the price of a brand new car now. It's a good car. I mean, who can just afford just from the pocket 20,000 now? It's I mean, to collect this money is not easy. Going to Hajj itself is not easy. You know, the pillars of Hajj itself, it's not something easy. So, قال صبر على طاعة الله حتى. The first type, when you keep pushing yourself to do the act of worship till you fulfill 5 prayers, fasting, غض البصر, paying the zakah, okay? Respecting your parents if they are very tough with you. Does this something, or is this something needs patience or not? What if part of your bala, part of your test, that you have a very tough father or very tough mother? Is it possible, by the way? Or all parents are angels? I'm asking. Are all parents angels, or sometimes part of your test that your father, your mother could be the toughest person in your life? True or false? It could be, طبعا, any one of us could face. May Allah protect us. So now, controlling yourself to respect someone who could be the main reason of disaster of your life. What's this? You need what? Sabr. Okay? This is the meaning of صبرها على الطاعة حتى تؤديها. Second type. قال وعن معصية الله حتى تتركها. Now you have the patience to hold back from the sinful acts, such as watching a porno thing or watching a very beautiful action movie, but it contains a lot of filthy, dirty scenes. Okay, you would love to see the action. You would love to enjoy the action because, you know, it brings the adrenaline in your blood, and you know this kind of, especially the Hollywood type. Okay, but it contains a lot of bad things, and you are mixing this with that. For example, you need patience just to hold back or switch it off or to change it or not to like it, because from inside you would love to see it. Sitting in the mixed parties with a beautiful, nice friends, males and females. Like many of us when we were youth, many of us, we used to have, you know, this kind of mixed parties, wedding parties or something. It's haram to go there, but it's very nice. Dancing, having girlfriend, watching nice movies, okay? Sitting with shilla, you know, the group, the very close friends to you. All of these things, when you hold back, you need patience. This is the meaning of وَصَبْرُهَا عَنْ مَعْصِيَةِ اللَّهِ حَتَّى تَتْرُكَهَا. قال وعلى, the third type of patience, according to the Sa'di. قال وعلى أقدار الله المؤلمة فلا تتسخطها. And to hold the patience on what Allah has determined for you from the things that you hate. There is now we don't have an act of worship, and we don't have a sinful. We have something Allah has decided to do with you, such as you lost a very dear person to you. Your son, the only son, after 10 years of marriage without having children. The first son, very happy. He's 6 months, 1 year, Allah took him or her. This is aqdarullah. Allah decided to test you on this. قال فلا تتسخطها, which means don't show anger against the qadr of Allah. This needs what? It needs what? Patience. So now the Mufassir is explaining the importance of patience, as-sabr. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and by the way, patience, you can bring patience by two main steps. First step, the intellectual one, which means you need to be convinced that this something is doable. Okay? Second thing, you train yourself by the knowledge of Sharia. For example, why do we seek knowledge such as, what am I benefiting when I know that when Prophet Muhammad lost his son Ibrahim, he was 1 year and a half. He lost. So out of his nature, he cried. You know, very dear. The son is, the child, your kid is very, very dear to any one of us. So his tears came out of his eyes. And he cried, and he said in the very well-known hadith, إن العين لتدمع وإن القلب ليحزن وإنا على فراقك يا إبراهيم ليمحزنون. He said, I feel sad, and I'm shedding the tears. However, لكن لا نقول إلا ما يرضي ربنا إن لله وإنا إليه راجعون. But we will say nothing but what satisfies our Lord, which is to Allah we belong, and to Him we will return back. Now this is a role model. When I feel angry, what shall I do? I train myself by controlling my bad feelings, stopping my imagination to go here and there, controlling my tongue, training myself by what I'm supposed to say instead of astaghfirullah, hasbi Allah. No. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Allahumma laka alhamd. Allahumma laka alhamd. Allahumma sabbarna ala qada'ik. Allahumma sabbarna ala. Allahumma give me patience on what you have said. Ya Allah. Allahumma laka alhamd. Allah astaghfirullah. This is training. This is training, by the way. Tasbih is training. So by this. So 3 types of patience. This is the importance of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started by patience, then bis-salah. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ista'inu. Lahad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, O believers, seek comfort, seek the help, seek the support through patience, which means this is something comes by your decision. You decide to use the tool of patience. So it's something doable, and you can train yourself on. قال استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. طيب. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. Now, at that time, part of the things that we highlighted, and I found it's very important to repeat it in our review. Once we mentioned patience, and we highlighted the concept of aqdarullah, what Allah determines, what Allah decides, we need to connect this with a very important concept. We keep repeating it all the time, which is the concept of al-ibtila, okay? The test. We are living, the main reason, one of the main reasons why we are in this dunya basically is to be tested. We need to know that. So, and Allah mentioned this clearly. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. He is the one who created death and life so that He will test you. Allah will put us in a trial. This is a trial. This is a test. Subhanallah. But we need to know that this test, after we know that we are under a big test, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ, we need to know the following very important points in the context of trial and test, which is number 1, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ. The bala or the test is not just in what we like or what we hate. Sorry, it's not just because by default any of us miskin mubtala, when we say, oh, may Allah be with him, he's in a big test. Mainly we are keen to keep mentioning the word bala and ibtila just in the negative bad things. Such as someone has a lot of diseases, a lot of illness. He is very sick all the time. We say, may Allah be with him. MashaAllah, he's in a big bala. True or false? Type. Have we ever said for someone who became a multimillionaire, oh, may Allah be with him, miskin, he's in a big test? Seriously, do we say this? No. We say, Niyalo, oh, I wish if I were him. Sahla. In the scale of Allah, they have the same. Exactly. Because Allah said, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ fitna. So we need to know, once bala is mentioned, or test or trial is mentioned, what we are not talking in the context of Sharia and the law of Allah, not just about things we don't like or difficult, or no, the good things and well. It's part of the test. As I will be tested by the fact that, for example, I have a weak body, and I am tested by the fact that I have a strong body. I will be tested if I'm a woman or a female, will be tested if I don't have a beautiful face, and I will be tested if I am a queen of beauty. Test. This lady's test will be whether she will be patient on the qadr of Allah by not being a queen of beauty. And this one will be tested by the fact that she's a queen of beauty and how she will be using this power, whether she will be arrogant, showing her beauty, using this power to mislead the people, or out of the attitude of gratitude to Allah, she will wear the hijab and take care of this ni'mah that could be taken at any moment. So she's in a test, she's in a test. The poor person who's trying his best to bring money from halal, and he failed most of the time, and he was in a very, very difficult, poor class of people all of his life, he will be tested by not doing the haram to bring the money. He was in need for extra money, but he never ever managed to buy a house. All the time in a very low income. This is his test. He's there, he can make money through gambling, haram. Through alcohol, haram. Through theft, haram. This is his test. Type, Mr. Rich, he was given a lot of money easily, millions. His test. Is he going to pay the zakah? Yes or not? If not, تحمى عليهم في نار جهنم. He will be burned out on their backs with the gold and the silver. La ilaha illallah. Paying the sadaqah, donation in general, helping, day and night, you're multimillionaire. You've done nothing to deserve that. Okay, Allah is testing you. This is a trust in your hand. Type. If not, you were using your money in what? Doing what? Keep inviting the politicians for hypocritical political parties just to gain more power, or using it to help the people and to be thankful to Allah. So this is a test and this is this. All the time. So this is second point. Once trial and test is mentioned. The first one, which is وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ. Both. Okay? Second important thing, once trial and tests are mentioned, is وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ وَعَسَىٰ أَن تُحِبُّ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ شَرٌ لَكُمْ. It should be mentioned within the context of the tests, as long as we are talking about patience. Okay? But my point is the patience now. But what is it? Be careful. Don't be hurry in judging Allah's decisions in your life, in what you hate and what you like. Be careful. Especially in the things that you can't change. Especially. Things that you can't change. You have no control on. Sometimes you might hate this, but it will end up be for your benefit. Be careful. Such as, for example, to mix the concept of sabr, patience, trial, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ, and وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ, all together now. Is there anyone who would love to have a son with a very difficult disease? Would love? Is seeking? Do you think so? Someone is seeking? No, it comes completely against our wish. We would love to have our sons and daughters not facing any kind of health problems. But what if one of my sons and daughters, he was born with a very, very, very serious health difficulty that it affects his or her life, all of his life. Now, from human point of view, is this test good or bad from our point of view? Bad, طبعا bad. Who loves his son to be born disabled? Who? Where is it? Show it to me. No one. We don't like it. But what if it happened by the will of Allah? Let's put, how can we understand this possibility under the main understanding of وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Look to this scenario. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm not, it is an example, okay? Okay. If I'm a multimillionaire and I have a lot of businesses, millions, and so my wife and I, we are enjoying a very luxurious life. We are Muslims, but because we are very rich, we are very busy, hardly we sit together, and I'm not paying attention to many things. I do the basic of, practicing of Islam, but generally, I'm busy with my, business. So Allah gave me a son that he has a very serious disability, which pushed me and my wife to spend half of our life after he came in the hospital. The place where simply I will not waste 5 minutes of my time as a busy businessman dealing with millions and millions of dollars. I will not spend that time. I was forced to go to the hospital tens of times, hundreds of times for years. So I was pushed to sit in lines. I was pushed to witness others who come to the hospital. I do share with them something that they are suffering and I am suffering. But I have money and I can easily take an appointment. I don't have a problem of transportation. I don't have a problem of paying for my medical insurance. The rest, they are suffering and they are begging and crying because they can't pay the cost. Allah pushed me to witness this reality by force. I and my wife. After suffering for months and months and years, we were pushed that our eyes will wake up, and we decided to dedicate some of our millions to help the poor and needy with a special medical treatment for poor and needy for the sake of Allah as waqf or endowment, okay? And sadaqah jariyah, continuous donation. This ended up, it will be the main reason to grant the Jannah. So, the disability of my son as end result was good or bad? 100% good end result. When it came for me, this will destroy my program. I can't travel anymore easily. I used to have my lunch, for example, in Toronto, and out of a sudden in Toronto, my dinner maybe will be in New York because for business contract for 150 millions. Hardly I said, this is business deal. So Allah forced me to have another way of business, the business with Allah. If I was not tested with this trial, who on earth will force me to think about those people? Who? No one. No one. Wallahi, no one. No one can force me. Because simply, my mind is completely occupied with gaining extra millions. This is the nature of the money. So when Allah, I'm giving you a simple example about the meaning of وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ. By the way, this scenario, we need to use the patience now. Subhanallah. So when you deal with yourself, seeking the good knowledge, understanding the way how Allah is operating His universe, accepting, pushing, training,
imitating the footsteps of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, understanding, attending, listening all the time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give. This is the most important thing we did last time when we mentioned the concept of sabr. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, salah. Subhanallah. And we said, prayer is one of them. Actually, it's not one of, it's the most important act of worship in Islam. To a degree that it has the following uniqueness. Number one, 23 years of revelation by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Archangel Gabriel. 23 years of revelation. All the legislations that we know in Islam, all of them except the prayer, they were revealed while Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was stepping on planet Earth. Except the salah. He was uplifted, taken to the seventh heaven, and he received the prayer there. This gives you an indication. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why this is just to think, wow, this is a message. Number one, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith said, قال أول ما يسأل عنه العبد يوم القيامة الصلاة فإن صلحت صلح سائر عمله وإن فسدت فسد سائر عمله. The first thing the one of us will be asked is your prayer. Because your prayer is the most well-known aspect of submission and declaration of submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 5 times you are putting the sign of honor in your life, which is your forehead. The forehead, for us, it's when you stand like this, actually, when you want to humiliate someone, what do we do with his head or her forehead? We take it like this down. So when you put it in the ground, it's the highest level of humiliation. When you do it by your own will for the sake of Allah, you have humiliated yourself and you declared, Ya Allah, you are just for you, I'm doing this. Anyone else, it's prohibited. For Allah, it's an act of being uplifted for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's something big. And by the way, when we say the one who does not pray is in a big trouble, we say, Ya Sheikh, please Sheikh, don't judge the people. Habibi, don't judge the people, Don't be judgmental. Oh Allah. Don't be, excuse me? His Lord, her Lord is telling him, if you believe in me, prostrate to me. I say, sorry Allah, I don't want to do sujood, but I have a white heart and I love you. Okay, show it. I will not, but I love you. Show it. I will not, but I love you. Habibi. Sheikh, don't judge me. Don't judge me, Ami. If you don't prostrate, you are mutakabbir ala Allah, whether you loved or not. But I'm sorry, Sheikh, but I feel offended by your words. Habibi, ruh, offensive, offended, and I don't care. The latest liberal style. I feel offended. Don't judge me. Don't be judgmental. Habibi, if you want to be a practicing Muslim, you have to prostrate for Allah. If not, you are in a big trouble. It's not my words. I'm just conveying the message of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first thing the one of us will be asked about in the day of judgment when accountability starts is the prayer. If it's okay, your file is good, consider everything after that is good. It's like a metaphorical expression, which means if the most important pillar is there, this one is not, just to make it easy for you. Imagine, just a simple, quick scenario came to me from political side, from security political side. If you came illegally to Canada or the United States, now from the first wall, it's a big issue, illegally. When they capture you, when they check your record, as long as you don't belong to anything has to do with violence or terrorism or human trafficking, or something big, serious, everything is manageable. A good lawyer can, yes or no? If you don't have major things, it's manageable. Okay, asylum seeker, political seeker, human seeker, whatever, easy. Few months, everything is okay. But if one of the previous points is something really part of your real record. May God be with you. You will never ever have it. True or false? Because not everything the same. If he used to be, for example, when his record, he used to drink alcohol a lot. Who cares? Yalla, ba'do. What else? He was very bad, for example, at school. No problem. He used to cheat in the math exam in grade 5. Who cares? Manageable. But he was a member in, for example, a terrorist group once in his life. Red light, no wait. تعال حبيبي تعال. You see, this is وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. This is the meaning of فَإِنْ صَلُحَتْ صَلُحَ. If the prayer is your file in the prayer is okay, passed the test, everything should be easy, don't worry. If not, I will be in a disaster. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. This is the most important two things we highlighted when we spoke about يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. طيب. Then very quickly inshallah. قال ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون. Never say that those martyred in the cause of Allah are dead. In fact, they are alive, but you don't perceive it. We need to know as believers, if you passed away, if you are killed while defending yourself, your honor, your family, okay, your money, your country, you are a martyr in Islam. In the Islamic terminology, a martyr. You did it for the sake of Allah with this intention. Some people, they say, how can I know? Baby, I don't care to know. I'm just telling you what we believe now. Okay? Now, if you are killed while doing one of these things, your title in Islam is what? A martyr. As Muslims, we believe that this dunya is not the end of the story. Actually, it's just one of the stages in our existence. Because as believers, we believe that every single person of us, we have four main stages in our existence. Stage number one, when our souls are created before we are born. Because Allah told us, وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ وَأَشْهَدَهُمْ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ أَلَسْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ قَالُوا بَلَى. You know, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created our souls long time before, we can't remember, okay, but Allah is telling us. We said, but how come this will be part that I witnessed that Allah is my Lord and I don't remember it? How it will be against me? طيب. Most of us, not actually, all of us, when we are born up to the age 3 more or less, we don't remember anything. Don't we trust what our parents tell us? If your father told you when you were at the age, year 1, for example, we were living in London, Ontario, then we traveled into Vancouver for 6 months, and we lived 6 months, then we came back to Mississauga. I said, excuse me, Dad, as long as I did that witness, I don't believe you. Seriously, who dares to say it? Who? It's by default. Trust source and that's it. Yes, if someone told you, have you ever in your life lived in Vancouver? You say, yes, 6 months when I was 1 year old. Do you remember it? No. So you are a liar. No, I'm not a liar. Trustworthy source. My father told me that I was there. What's the evidence? Your father saying. I mean, okay, you can tell you, logically, what if your father was lying? Yes, it's a possibility. But mainly, do we depend on these sources or not? I'm just telling you, just to answer about وَإِذْ أَخَذَ رَبُّكَ مِنْ بَنِي آدَمَ مِنْ ظُهُورِهِمْ ذُرِّيَّتَهُمْ. If someone is saying, Allah is saying that when Allah created the souls, He asked every single soul, who's your Lord? And all of us, we said, it's you, Ya Allah. Okay, we believe in that phase because Allah told us about it. It has another explanation. Some ulama, they say it's a metaphorical meaning for the fitrah, which is the inner nature. The inner nature. But the literal understanding, at some stage back in the time, when we were created, our souls, not our physical flesh bodies, no, our souls, Allah told us. So this is stage number 1. We don't remember anything, but Allah told us about it. Stage number 2 starts from when the spirit, the soul, has been injected by the command of Allah through the angel in the womb of your mother. Once the soul is connected with this, شو اسمه الجنين بالبطن بالانجليزي embryo جنين fetus fetus fetus. Once the fetus contained the spirit by the will of Allah, stage number 2 started. It finishes by the time of death. This is stage 2, which could be the average 60-70 years for the majority of people, and could be 10 years. Stage 3, the barzakh. The barzakh, the barrier, starts from the moment of death and ends up by the day of judgment. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everyone living being will be dead, then Allah will resurrect again everyone else. So we have 4 stages now, because then after the day of judgment is the starting of the akhirah. Now in the akhirah we believe in eternal life as Muslims. So depending on that, when in stage 2 the Quran and Allah is telling us, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, don't say exactly اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. Where is, read it in English again, sorry. Never say that those martyred in the cause of Allah are dead. They have a special type of living, up waiting for the day of judgment, in alam al-barzakh, in the world of the barrier, as we believe. We are not discussing how to prove it. We are saying what we believe in and what should be enjoining when remembering these things for the martyrs. Okay? قال ولا تقولوا, never say that those martyred in the cause of Allah, and this is the condition, في سبيل الله. So Sheikh, if someone is martyred for the sake of his tribe, it's not for Allah. The one who martyred for the sake of the leader of his country, okay, let the leader of his country reward him in the day of judgment if he can. It's not my problem, excuse me. Allah says, for the cause of Allah. Did he did it for the cause of Allah? If yes, may Allah accept. If not, no, he is not a martyr. Yes, he might be called martyr in our language, but in reality, is he considered martyr? No. Because the condition should be done for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Prophet Muhammad in another hadith, he said, ثلاثة تسعر بهم النار يوم القيامة. 3 categories of people, the hellfire will be heated in the day of judgment. One of them, رجل قاتل في سبيل الله حتى قتل. Someone who was fighting for the sake of Allah, as the people think. Then he will be brought. This is a category. Might be millions of people. Okay? This category. Okay, tell us about yourself. What happened? قال يا Allah, I was fighting for your sake. ويقال كذبت. You have said the lies. You were fighting ليقال شجاع, to say that you are brave. Superhero. The special elites, commandos. Okay. ألا فقد قيل. So you received your reward. They made the car for you, and they made the statue for you, and they called you, oh, the big nice hero. Okay, your reward has been taken by you in this dunya. From Allah, there is nothing. It was not for the sake of Allah. This is very important, very serious. Never say that those martyred in the cause of Allah are dead. In fact, they are alive, but you don't perceive it. We can't perceive it because we don't have, the tool yet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, in the Quran, فَكَشَفْنَا عَنْكَ غِطَاءَكَ فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيد. At the time of death, when the angel of death comes, a specific layer or cover will be uncovered from our sides. Our ability will have something, more than what we have, such as we will be able to see the angel of death himself. We will see him. How? There's something that we can't see. Like, for example, now, can we see by our naked eyes the Bluetooth? It's a ray. Can you witness it? X-ray. Can we see it? IR. Infrared. We can't. I mean, we believe in its existence. I know I can use it now. The IR. I send something. Now, the remote control now. If I remote control, it uses the IR. الانفراريد الأشعة تحت حمراء. Then the fan is working. What's happening now? There is something between here and there. We can't see it. This is the same thing exactly. We can't see the angels. We can't see the hasanat and the sayyat. We can't witness the angel, the jinn. Once death has approached me and I'm about to die, Allah will uncover and I will see. Part of what I will be seeing, the angel of death himself, in a specific form. So this is the meaning. Now that you don't perceive it, which means you don't have the ability to, recognize it or realize it or to perceive it. قال, we will certainly test you with a touch of fear and famine and loss of property, life and crops. Give good news to those who patiently endure. وبشر الصابرين. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about sabr and salah. Then he's giving examples about the most important thing that we will be tested with. Number one, fight in the cause of Allah, because this is one of the toughest and most difficult thing, because it's a high possibility to lose your life. Fighting in the cause of Allah means at any moment your life is finished. So that's why you need a patience. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned different styles of test. We will certainly test you. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ. Definitely you need to know, if you decided to declare that I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, Muhammad is his messenger, you will not leave this dunya without the test of one of these, or some of them, or all of them. Which means prepare yourself. We are not in the Jannah, we are in the dunya. The dunya is dar test, dar imtihan. It's the house of testing. Al-Jannah, dar al-mut'ah. It's the house of pleasure. Just go there, pleasure. Everything else. We will be equipped with new faculties and new qualities. Now, part of our test, that we can't live without food, we have to work, we have to sweat, we need to eat, we need to go to the washroom, we need to build a shelter, we need to protect ourselves, we need to fight, we need to discuss, we need to study, we need, or otherwise, many things we can't achieve. Well, even if you are lazy, you don't have even the ability to do something. I mean, sometimes you need to go to the shower, just, to take some kind of, to cleanse your body. You don't have even the power. If you don't move, the smell of the sweat will kill you. You have to put efforts all the time to eat, to drink, to sleep, to protect. Every time. You need a house. You need to build a house. Either you build it by yourself, or you have to pay millions and hundreds of thousands for others. You need to bring the money to have a shelter, the house, to protect and to enjoy, etc. In the Jannah, nothing of this. Just pleasure. Now you eat out of hunger. In the Jannah, you eat out of pleasure. Here, if you don't sleep, you will die. There, you don't sleep. Here, sometimes you have very cold, and you have very hot. You have direct sun. There, you have just a light. It's not hot and not cold. You don't sleep. You keep eating out of pleasure. Once you finish eating, the remainings will not, you don't need to go to the washroom. It comes out of your body as perfume. La ilaha illallah. Just continuous pleasure within you. Places, locations, gardens, fruits. You meet the people that you love. It's just enjoyment. So complete a new system. We don't have it now. Who when faced with a disaster, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, surely to Allah we belong and to Him we will all return. إِنَّ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّ لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. They are the ones who will receive Allah's blessings and mercy, and it is they who are rightly guided. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, I have not brought something new. It's just a reminder for myself and for you. The most important thing is that with this 5 ayat is the sabr, the patience. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, now be careful. You need to be equipped with patience by your decision so that you will be facing these tests. نقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين. Be careful. Definitely, every one of us will be tested at least with one of them, if not some of them, if not all of them. But last question that I highlighted last time. Some people might say, Ya Sheikh, but you know, what can I do? I mean, I don't have patience. Okay, acquire it. What? But Allah, created me. I'm a very nervous person. I lose. Okay, train yourself. Every one of us realizes now that we don't have a lot of skills. Then we gain these skills when we train ourselves because we want to achieve some certain jobs or achieve some certain businesses or some certain goals. What do? We push ourselves. How many times, for example, let's speak about these huge multinational companies where they have branches, like for example, we speak about Marks and Spencer, Walmart, McDonald's, something. Wallahi, I heard about some of them. They make specific. I was doing my PhD in the UK. I heard in specific about Marks and Spencer. You know, some of these or Sainsbury. Some of them they have 10,000 branches around the world. 11,000, 13. 24,000. I talk about millions of employees. Now, Marks and Spencer, to the best of my knowledge, I remember it because it was the first time in my life I was encountered with this piece of knowledge. It was new for me 27 years ago because I did not expect that this happens in reality. That's what I was telling you at that time. Now it's very simple. At that time, I was told by an expert, they say, do you know in Marks and Spencer, they train their employees that keep smiling in the face even if you are facing the toughest and most bad person in your life. Just keep smiling. And the customer is always right. Whatever he or she says. I said, what? But you feel nervous. Customer is right. But he's lying. Right. Keep smiling. La ilaha illallah. Keep smiling. But if you listen to him, you will lose your temper. Keep smiling. They train them. And if they don't abide with the regulations, what will happen? Out. The salary is missed. Khalas. What will happen in reality with the employees? They force themselves to be what? Like robots. Smile. A very tough person. He used the F word, the N word, the S word, everything as a. Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Sorry for bothering you, sir. Sorry, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. In reality, she would love to finish him. But, thank you, sir. I'm sorry, sir, for bothering you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Why? They're trained to do so. So can they? Yes. Why? For the sake of the salary. What is the salary? A few hundreds of dollars or pounds. So can she, he, we, I do it? Yes. When you decide. This is a simple example. Am I exaggerating or this is a reality? Simple example. Big banks. They have dressing code. Simple. Let's come to brothers. I am someone who hates ties. I don't like to wear ties. But if I was looking for a job and I have an excellent qualifications in my field and I had an excellent job with a basic salary of 160 or 250,000. One of the simple basic conditions, you have to wear a suit and tie in your job, 8 hours a day. Do you think I will think twice about having a tie? 250 basic. which could reach with the bonus 13 and 14 months to 380. يعني in 3 years I will be a multi-millionaire. Oh sorry, just a millionaire, not a multi. Taking in consideration the average of salaries, do you think I will think about the tie? By the way, still I hate to wear it, but I will wear it. True or false? Is this the case of the majority of people or not? Don't tell me that now, if someone is in need for the money and he received an offer of more than $250,000, which means he will be enjoying about 20 to 30,000 a month, and you say, I'm sorry, I'm a person of principle. I don't wear ties, so I refuse the offer. If you found him, please let me meet him. I want to make a case study on him, because it will be a unique human phenomenon. Maybe he's an alien. Seriously, wallah, I'm not joking. Why I'm mentioning this example? To tell those, once you tell him, Allah commands you, but ya Sheikh, this is very difficult. Okay, and I know it's difficult. Who told you it's easy? Who told you it's easy to pray the Fajr every day, summer and winter, and a time where the most beloved thing to your heart is to stay on bed? Who told you it's easy? No one is claiming it's easy. I know it's difficult. But the reward is the Jannah. If I'm ready to control my life and stop drinking, if part of the conditions to receive a salary of 3 million a year, basic, okay, imagine that I'm a secular, liberal atheist. I'm not a believer, Aslan. And I was looking for money, and I managed to have a good salary, and it was more than $1 million a year. Basic conditions. You don't have the right in your life to drink alcohol. What? Our job is very sensitive. We need you all the time to be alert, because you are taking care of the management of the human resources for 24/7. You have to be alert, because simple mistake could destroy the company. And you are the CEO, you are the CFO, you are the CEO, whatever, or anything, but it's very sensitive. So, no alcohol in your life. But I enjoy it. No alcohol in your life. Not for religious reasons, for business reasons. No smoking, any type of thing. No weed, no drugs, no cigarettes. What? What's the possibility, do you think, that I will accept? 1 million a year without the bonus. And I believe 98 to 99% of people on earth will accept. Even if they are atheists, has nothing to do with religion now. Why? Because the value of the 1 million for them will give them the what? The power, the motive, the energy to stop drinking alcohol, even though I love it, and to stop and. Wallahi, I was shocked when I knew that the very famous football teams, like for example Barcelona and Real Madrid or something, when they go to training camps to have a very serious matches, one of the things that it is prohibited for them by the law, signature, they sign on it, for many days before the game, they are not allowed to have any sexual relation with any woman before the game. Do you know this? By law. I'm not discussing for haram and halal. They consider it that it will weaken their bodies in the match. That they are not allowed. And if are discovered that they did it, there is a legal consequences for it. What? So they are interfering in very, very, very special private life. Yes. But, the foot of Messi and Ronaldo is equal to about 50 or 60 or 70 million dollars. He's ready not to have, a beautiful, nice night for 5 days if he will be gaining 70 million. This is, I'm giving you human examples about when anyone speaks with a believer. Yeah, this is صعب, this is difficult, I know. Hijab, is it easy for the sisters in the summer? Is it easy? No, wallah, it's not easy. But the reward, the Jannah. And the same example goes to equal. Or even non-believers, even atheists, even secular people, they do it, but for their causes. So they do it for their causes, and we do it for our. So what's the difference? This is a common sense, by the way. That's why I gave you the examples. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam kathira. See you next week. Assalamu alaikum.
الله يجزيك الخير.